Welcome back to Game Devs Play Games, where you can watch games and practice game design.
I like that you started this right as we had the load screen.
I know, right?
It's like, there's no game.
Oh
it's all just a black screen.
I'm just skipping ahead of some stuff because I don't feel like messing with these guys.
And the crowd cheered in relief.
Yeah, I'm just like, oh, get out of my face. Oh, I'm going to get hurt a little
So
bit.
I finally convinced Tony to use the more optimal Keyblade.
Oh, you know what? What am I doing? What am I
As he
doing?
goes back and changes to Lady Luck.
What am I doing?
What are you doing? You're losing all the ground you just gained.
No, I probably like literally.
Snap my picture.
I wish I knew what I was doing sometimes.
Yeah?
Yeah.
We were joking off cam that like really like almost pinnacle of the 90s song of like 90s.
Oh yeah.
What do you call it? Like 90s electronica?
I don't even know what you call it.
It's
Just like
like
that
new
weird,
wave.
new wave rock.
It's not even rock.
I mean, yeah, like it's weird.
It's just new wave something.
Just stupid,
And
really.
it's
when it comes
the one
down
that's
to
like, bow, ba-dow, ba-dow, smack my bitch up.
it. Yep.
And the censor version is something along the lines of like, snap my picture.
Yeah. It's pretty wonderful.
It's so good.
It's pretty much the best thing.
I think that's my favorite censor I've ever heard.
That's just come out of anything ever.
So if I just randomly start saying "snap my picture," that's
you know why it's happening.
that's why it's happening.
I don't know what I'm supposed to do here. Oh, I have to,
What are you?
I have to go back and do all the same crap again.
And then the audience left YouTube.
Yeah.
But what's the goal?
To get back to where we were before.
For what? What are you trying to
have
do?
to close the keyhole.
Oh,
The bell said.
so this is core story that we're actually.
Oh yeah. No,
I thought you were getting more like keyblades and.
No.
jazz.
Oh god, no. No. I mean, there's a keyblade here that I'm gonna get. I forgot that's not as simple as this. I didn't want to take this way anyway. This is great. I love wasting your guys' time. This is what I live for.
That's a lot of bubbles.
This is why I'm hot.
Snap my
There's
picture.
literally nothing here for you guys. Like literally.
Do you think that like after an area like this is cleared,
there should just be an easy way to get back? Absolutely, there should be.
I was gonna go with the route of should they just close off that path?
I think they should just make it easier to like get to places.
I mean, I don't disagree.
Because it's like
Especially because it's like we've done this.
and it's the slowest part. It's like, hey guys, remember when we took this lift?
This lift is so slow.
It's like
why do we have to watch
it's
this?
like they do it on purpose. They know it's so slow. They're like, yeah, you're going to watch all of this.
Like, I don't care.
No one cares.
You
That's
know what?
the thing.
You know why they probably did it though is to be like, okay, memorize this path.
Yeah.
This is the direction the
Bell's
lift
back again.
goes.
Hey, what's up, Belle? Can you give me another flower?
So many books.
So many books. I like the books. I like the colors. I like the pictures.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I like the pictures.
I like the pictures.
I like to read the mangas.
I like books. Hey there, guys. I like books.
All I'm saying is, we should just read a portrait of Markov.
No, we're not doing that.
I watched a game theory. We'll talk about this when we go back to Doki Doki later today.
Oh, that's the waterway. Why am I here?
But I watched the game theory in Doki Doki, and I got some shit to talk about next time we play Doki Doki.
Oh, really?
Oh, it's gonna be good.
Oh,
it's
man.
gonna be so good.
And for those of you who haven't watched our Doki Doki series, run away.
No, seriously, check it out.
It's
I mean,
so
more
messed
likely you guys have
up.
watched Doki Doki and... Ouch.
They hit a lot harder now. I kind of forgot about that.
Well, they
I
did
should probably
warn
just
you.
pay attention to my health.
I mean, you'd think that the game would have taught you that by now.
Yeah, no, like it did teach me that by now. I'm just not very good at listening.
Let me rephrase. You'd think that Tony would have learned by now.
That like health is important. What kind of foolish understanding is that?
Ooh, although nice that it had you just respawn right where you died.
Yeah, I'm kind of cool with that. I don't care about like the stats on this. I don't care if it says I used 8,000 continues.
Listen, this is a game design show. This is not a we're pro gamers playing pro.
I think at this point in the whole series of everything, you all know by now that we are not pros at this. And if any of you think we are, please reevaluate while you're watching us.
I really want to like cut back to episode 1 where Tony's like, oh, I've been going through a playthrough on proud mode where I haven't died once.
I didn't die once. No, really, I stopped dying. Oh, so I mean, like, I died. I didn't use any like continues.
You used reloads, yeah.
I used reloads, but I stopped dying after like Agrabah.
My joke here was,
I know, but like, I know I'm awful at magic. I'm awful at the thing I chose.
it's okay, buddy.
But like, you know, I did it for the clicks, man.
I did it for the clicks. I don't think we're getting those clicks, but
I really
you know.
don't want to do this, and I have to, and I hate it. They are like enemy spamming.
I was
us
just
here.
about to say you got here.
They are like enemy. They're like, hey,
It really is
good.
a lot.
Good.
Wow.
Good. This is how I like it. This is just peachy.
You need just like meteor storm. That's really what you need.
Yeah, right.
A kill all in one swoop kind of.
That's what Ariora's for. Not really. It's just when people touch me, they get hurt.
I mean, it definitely helps.
I just don't want to like fight these guys though, because then they're like, I'm gonna fly, and I'm like, I don't want to fall. I don't want to redo all of this.
You know, that really is like the cruelest joke in games like this, where it's like, you could fall if you're not careful with
and
your
you're
platforming.
gonna go back to the beginning.
Yeah, but here's enemies that specifically fly out of range and sort of get you to fall. Hey, look, there's a treasure over there.
And I'm not gonna get it. I've given up on treasure. I've given up on everything.
That really is kind of mean, though. I feel like it's not necessary.
It's just like they're just doing it to be a dick.
Yeah, well, it's a time sink. From a combat design standpoint, it makes sense under the pretense of like it prioritizes attacks.
No. Oh no. Well, fine.
So it's like, okay, well, I can't kill these guys, so I'm going to focus on the guys immediately that I can kill.
Right.
But then I have to pay attention to when those guys come back into range. But then you get to a point where literally all of them are flying outward.
Hey, you guys remember this?
Oh, yeah.
Because I do. Let's use... I should have a camp set or something I can use here.
Oh, have we ever used one of these?
No. Oops. That's why I'm using it now.
Sure, man.
Oh, it doesn't even fit. I thought I was gonna. I guess I didn't pay attention to that.
Camp is the weakest one, Tony.
Yeah, well, let me use another one.
You're fine.
I just have a lot of like. That's fine. Fine.
Those items are so weird too because they're such a byproduct of old school RPGs.
They really are, like camping sets and tents and all that good stuff.
It is so weird whenever they bleed into modern games because they're not bad. It's just.
But if you really think about this, is this considered a modern game at this point? Because this is 2001, right, when this game originally came out.
I mean, it's definitely not a modern game anymore. But if you compare it to, you know, like Dragon Warrior, for example, which I think had camping sites in there too, that's like a decade, maybe more than a decade of a difference.
Yeah.
So it's like, at that point, it's still like really retro stuff bleeding into...
But then in Final Fantasy IX, you also had camping sets you could use, and that was only like 3 years before.
I mean, that's fair. It's just weird because it's like a camping set in this is just like you heal everyone universally.
Right, everything gets healed, everything gets better.
Whereas like old school camping sets would be like you can't use it unless you're on the overworld and not in combat.
Right, absolutely.
So there were more restrictions to it, but it was a really useful thing to have when you needed it.
Oh, absolutely it was.
Whereas now it's just like a party heal.
Yep.
That you just use
but it's like heal everybody.
Which is, I'm not saying that's bad either.
No, but it's just weird. It's just like...
It's strange to see how these things trickle through generations of design.
It's so odd. You know what I would have done in this world? Instead of making us re-go back through everything, just like a straight shot to the end.
I feel like you definitely said that.
I know, I just really, just like one door, one walkway, just like get us where we need to go, because I know it's coming up here.
So the question is, though, does that potentially hurt the design of what they were going for? Does it make it too easy?
You know, I guess it might make it too easy, but literally you're going through game you've already played. It's not like you're taking a different like...
So that's true as far as the level design goes, but that's not true as far as the enemies go. You're facing more enemies and they're tougher.
And they're tougher, yes. That is fair.
So then I think the other question there is, are we getting anything interesting out of fighting more difficult enemies in the same level space? Because if the answer is no, then I full-heartedly agree.
You know, it's hard to tell. I guess on our end here, it doesn't do a whole lot of good. But oh my god,
it levels us up. But
it levels us up, absolutely, and it really does paint the picture for how much harder this game is supposed to be getting. Because all of a sudden, like the level gap becomes abundantly clear.
Yeah.
Which I don't know if I totally agree with, because up until this point, you're fighting enemies that you can kind of handle, and now all of a sudden it's like, we're not doing that anymore. I mean, not that we're not handling them, because clearly I am. To varying degrees of success, you know, depending on if I'm paying attention to my health, which they know people are bad at, like, paying attention to their health.
Well, yeah, especially if there's so much going on screen, you can only focus your attention on
sensory overload happens easy. It's not like, I'm not saying that as a bad way. I think it's part of the challenge of the game. It's prioritizing, you know,
I will say,
what's important.
In both your defense and the game's defense, there are some audio cues that let you know when your health is running low.
The one goes, ooh, 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 yes.
And since we have the volume on the TV down so low, we don't hear it as
we're not really paying
clearly.
Attention.
Yeah, so you as a player don't get those audio cues. So when you get to that risk point, you know, it might not be super obvious. But also, in your defense and against the game's defense, is oftentimes when you're that low on health, you don't even have enough time to heal.
Right,
it's like
by the time you heal, that's it.
Yeah, they hit so hard that you may not even hear that audio trigger.
Yeah,
you
right.
might just die.
Yeah, you might be like, oh, and that's like fighting Sephiroth. Oh my gosh, you fight Sephiroth, and it's just like one hit and you're done. It's like, yeah, it's all right.
Well, at least with Sephiroth, it's like, that's
but
pretty
you know what
obvious
you're getting into,
Yeah, it's a one target, one opponent, and it's like, you know he's going to be hard as hell.
Oh, I need to, that's where that, I was wondering where that little fucker was.
I'm all about spilling coffee all over myself.
It's all right, man.
It's because I got the shaky legs. One of those guys that, well, like, when I'm sitting idle, I'll, like, move my feet a lot.
Yeah, oh, dude, that's exactly how I am.
It's not restless leg syndrome, because
I know.
Isn't that, like, your legs hurt if you don't move them?
That's exactly what I was trying to tell you. You have RLS. And I'm like, no, because that's literally where, like, it physically pains you to not move them. Basically.
Yeah.
Not that it's in constant movement, but... Yeah, I'm pretty sure. Or I'm just defending a point that's totally pointless.
I mean,
that's something else I'm very good at doing.
It's just like it's like a fiddling kind of habit, you know? It's just with your legs.
What does this one do again? Let's just take me up. Oh, it moves all those. That's right. I don't want to do that. Whatever. It's fine. It's fine. It's fine. If I just messed everything up here.
Okay.
Okay, Google.
So... RLS, restless leg syndrome, a condition characterized by a nearly irresistible urge to move the legs, typically in the evenings. I didn't know that. Chronic, can last for years or be lifelong, requires a medical diagnosis, and lab tests or imaging are rarely required. Typically occurs while sitting or laying down, generally worsens with age and can disrupt sleep. That's a pretty significant indicator. The main symptom is nearly irresistible urge to move the legs. Getting up and moving around helps the unpleasant feeling temporarily go away. So it doesn't necessarily hurt, but it like, for you and I who, you know, move our legs, it's like, if I consciously choose to not move my legs, then I just stop moving them.
Right.
It's just like, if I'm not thinking about it, it might just start happening.
Right, exactly. It's not like I'm always in a constant, I have to move.
Yeah, so that's the core difference. It's like a nervous tick that you have, not nervous, it's just a tick where you have to move them, and if you don't, you feel really, really uncomfortable. I don't know why we got on this topic, but... Because
you were talking about how your legs were moving around a lot.
Medical lessons in game design.
Yeah, right.
GDPG talks... WebMD.
Talks WebMD. So you're probably dying if you talk WebMD. Don't look up your... Don't look up what you have.
If you have restless leg syndrome, it means you also have necrosis of the brain.
Of the brain. It means that slowly your brain is dying from fungal tissues. It's like, wait, what? No, nothing, man. You're good. Just live your life happy.
Actually, you know, realistically, anything on WebMD leads to cancer.
Yeah, right. But that's also kind of the idea about life, isn't it? Like, I mean, it kind of sets up, oh yeah, I have to go back. Oh, I'm so dumb. I'm so dumb.
So
I'm
go
so
back.
dumb. I just wanted to get that 90p.
90p.
The 90p.
Get that 90p. You know, the only reason we're gonna hit level 50 is because you
all
feel
because
the
of me.
need to clear rooms.
I really do. It's like it's instilled in you. You're just like, I have to clear this.
Well, and the game sort of requires that out of you, right? Because if you don't do that, then you fall behind in levels, and then the game gets really tough.
and then you're just like, I don't know how I got to this final boss, and
Unless-
I've died 80 times.
Unless you're a speedrunner, in which case you glitch through a wall, you fly through the air, and you somehow find your way at the end of the game, and you're just like, yeah, beat it
Like-
in 3 minutes.
So that's my question. So is the point that you don't fight the bosses then?
I think
like-
if you can avoid a boss in a speedrun, you will.
But that's why that's why I feel like speedrunning loses me, because there's some games where it's like, how do you like beat that boss? Like if like, do you just have to be like stupid good at the game too?
So there are two ways of looking at speedruns, and I guess realistically there are dozens of categories of speedruns.
Okay.
But in my mind, there are two core differentiations. There's glitchless, and glitched speedruns.
Okay.
So a glitchless would be like if you just honestly power through the game as quick as possible without breaking the game.
Okay,
You're
yep.
using all of the rules of the game, and not using any like major glitches to beat the game.
You're
you're not
just
skipping
running-
content.
You're just running through it.
Whereas a glitch run could go as crazy as like, you know, pushing yourself through level geometry to skip a section.
Yeah, right. And then all of a sudden you're at like the final boss.
Yeah, and that generally implies significant gaps of content that you're bypassing.
That you're bypassing. All of a sudden you're like, how'd you skip the first? Oh,
And both are fascinating. I'm generally more interested in just like glitchless speedruns.
yeah, absolutely. Because I think there's more skill involved. Well,
But when
that's not fair to say.
When it comes to like awesome games done quick, I love watching the glitch runs because people
Yeah.
do such crazy stuff.
Yeah, dude, it's wild, man. It's wild.
I learned though recently that there's also even further distinction of like there's tool assisted speedruns compared to skill assisted speedruns, where tool assisted is like you actually use a program to help you break the game. And so it's like it basically is a tool that would say, for example, let you choose the randomized output, or you find the exact right frame sequences to cause like frame perfect glitches.
Oh.
And the tool is what allows you to manually fine tune it. So it's like a tool assisted speedrun is the tinkerer. It's the very thoughtful way
Yeah,
of like
of how you-
can I have the mathematically perfect run.
That's crazy, man. That just like blows my mind.
It's really cool. And then the skill one is obviously just like it's not using whoa, you went through the
Yeah,
wall for a second there.
Absolutely did.
And then the skill is just without the tool. It's just, you know, how can I brute force my way to the fastest
Yeah.
ending? And that in itself is just crazy that people can do things almost as precise as a robot. It's just,
Yeah,
it's
right.
nuts.
It's wild. Yeah, all that I did doesn't really do much for us in the game. It's just to get more stuff. But I gotta, oh my god, we're just
Fantastic. All right, well, in the next episode, Tony beats the game.
no, that's again, you are oversimplifying. So question of the day.
Question of the day. How would you either modify or change the level design here to potentially better utilize us coming back to this space?
Absolutely, we talk about that a lot.
And I think to summarize my thoughts on it is that it's sort of lazy to just like add more monsters and have us go through the same stuff.
Yeah, absolutely.
It's reusing content, but not necessarily effectively, because it's reusing the level space, and it's
Right.
already a really tedious and kind of monotonous level design.
It is.
So yeah, if it were in your control and you had unlimited budget and time,
Yeah, what would you do?
Because that very realistically was part of the reason why it ended up being this way. How would you do it?
Yeah. If you guys enjoyed this episode, please hit that like button, and we'll see you all next time on Kingdom Hearts.
Bye.
See you guys later.